Philip Rivers is one of the biggest characters in NFL history, and he was also pretty good at quarterback. He sat his first 2 seasons on the bench behind another great quarterback in Drew Brees, but a serious shoulder injury to Brees in late 2005 opened the door for Rivers, and he never missed a game afterward. For the next 15 years, 14 with the Chargers and 1 with the Colts, Rivers consistently put up impressive numbers to finish top 5 all-time in almost every positive counting stat for quarterback. But despite Rivers' big stats, his teams consistently underachieved. He made just 1 conference championship game and never made a Super Bowl. This video takes a deep look into Rivers' career to determine whether or not he deserves a place in Canton. Enjoy. 2006 would end up being the most successful team Rivers ever played on in terms of win-loss record. Behind NFL MVP LaDainian Tomlinson and his record-breaking 31 touchdowns, the Chargers finished a league-best 14-2. Rivers was asked to be a game manager who stayed out of the way and not screw up, and for the most part he did this very well. He was even named to the Pro Bowl for his efforts. All was fine and dandy until the playoffs when the Chargers faced the New England Patriots at home in the divisional round. San Diego scored a touchdown with 8:40 left to go up 21-13. The Chargers offense had been inconsistent all day, but the defense had held firm, especially when on 4th down with 6:25 left in the game, Tom Brady threw a terrible interception to Marlon McCree. But of course, it wouldn't be a Tom Brady playoff game without some bullshit going his way, as McCree fumbled the ball back to New England. Given extra life, Brady led New England to a touchdown and 2-point conversion to tie the game at 21 with 4:41 left. Rivers had a chance to be the hero, but the Chargers went 3 and out, and on New England's last possession, Brady led them into field goal range to take a 24-21 lead with 1:14 left. Rivers completed 3 passes for 39 yards on the final drive to set up San Diego with a game-tying 54-yard field goal attempt, but kicker Nate Kading whiffed on it, ending the Chargers season prematurely. Rivers was not very good in his playoff debut, going just 14 of 32 for 230 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception for a putrid 55.5 passer rating. He also lost a fumble for good measure. While it's true the Chargers most likely would have won this game if not for that freak fumble by Marlon McCree, this was still an extremely winnable game, and Rivers didn't make the plays needed to put it away despite numerous chances throughout. Despite the disappointing end to 2006, the Chargers still had a loaded roster. The only major change from 2006 to 2007 was head coach, as Marty Schottenheimer got the axe despite having the best record in the league. He was replaced by Norv Turner, and the 2007 Chargers somewhat underachieved in the regular season with an 11-5 record. Rivers took a step back individually despite once again playing the game manager role, but nevertheless the Chargers would handle the Tennessee Titans 17-6 in the wildcard round at home before shocking the heavily favored Indianapolis Colts on the road in the divisional round 28-24. But while San Diego won the game, they lost Rivers late due to a serious knee injury, which turned out to be a torn ACL. In one of the most gutty performances by an athlete in recent memory, Rivers decided to play in the AFC Championship game with the torn ACL. You'll never guess a lucky quarterback who got to play him on a bad knee. Wait, how did you know it was Tom Brady? Anyway, the Chargers went into Foxborough to face the 17-0 New England Patriots for the right to go to the Super Bowl. And while Rivers is to be commended for his toughness, he didn't play well. He threw no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, averaged just 5.7 yards per attempt, and had a 46.1 passer rating. One of Rivers' INTs set New England up at the San Diego 24, which they scored a touchdown off of. The Chargers defense once again gave Brady fits, forcing him into 3 interceptions, but Rivers and the Chargers offense were unable to capitalize with touchdowns. 3 times they drove inside New England's 10-yard line but had to settle for field goals. They had the ball down 14-12 late in the 3rd quarter but were unable to do anything with it. New England then scored a touchdown to go up 21-12 early in the 4th. San Diego's last drive of the game saw them march to the New England 36-yard line before deciding to punt like cowards. Ew. New England then went on a 15-play drive to drain the remaining 9:13 of game time. 2008 was Philip Rivers' coming out party, as with LaDainian Tomlinson declining, he was asked to carry more responsibility than ever before, and he answered the call. He led the NFL in touchdown passes, touchdown percentage, yards per attempt, adjusted yards per attempt, passer rating, and adjusted net yards per attempt. But despite Rivers' brilliance, the Chargers' record was just 8-8 thanks to many close losses. Week 1 versus Carolina, Rivers led a touchdown drive with 2:32 left to go up 24-19, but Carolina scored on a 14-yard touchdown pass as time expired to win 26-24. Week 2 at Denver, Rivers threw a 66-yard touchdown to go up 38-31 with 4:36 left, but Denver scored a 4-yard touchdown pass and 2-point conversion to go up 39-38 with 24 seconds left, thanks to a controversial call by the referee which negated a game-ending fumble by Jay Cutler. Don't care. Week 5 at Miami, LaDainian Tomlinson got stuffed at Miami's 1, down 17-10 on the opening play of the 4th. San Diego had 2 more drives, down 17-10, but didn't score either time to lose. Week 7 at Buffalo, Rivers threw an interception down 20-14 at the Buffalo 9 with 6:16 left. Buffalo then kicked a field goal to go up 23-14, and Rivers fumbled on the next drive to effectively end the game. Week 8 at New Orleans, Rivers threw an interception down 37-30 at New Orleans' 32-yard line with 1:18 left. Week 8 at Pittsburgh, Rivers led a go-ahead field goal drive with 6:44 left to go up 10-8, but Pittsburgh then had a game-winning field goal to go up 11-10 with 15 seconds left to win. Week 12 versus Indianapolis, Rivers led a field goal drive to tie the game at 20 with 1:35 left, but Indianapolis then kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired. Week 13 versus Atlanta, San Diego had the ball down 22-16 with 2:46 left, but punted. Atlanta got the ball back and ran out the clock. Despite starting 4-8, the Chargers ran off 4 straight wins to end the season at 8-8 and win the historically bad AFC West. For the second straight year, they upset the favored Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs, squeaking out a 23-17 overtime win in the wild card round before traveling to Pittsburgh for the divisional round. Unlike the regular season matchup, the playoff matchup was not close. The Chargers had a 10-7 lead late in the first half, but the Steelers ran off 21 straight points to take a 28-10 lead with 12:56 left. San Diego would never get closer than 11 points the rest of the way as the eventual Super Bowl champion Steelers won 35-24. 2009 was once again another brilliant individual season for Rivers. For the second straight year, he led the NFL in yards per attempt, adjusted yards per attempt, as well as yards per completion and net yards per attempt. And unlike 2008, the 2009 Chargers record reflected Rivers' play, as after a slow 2-3 start, they reeled off 11 straight wins to finish 13-3 and earn the number 2 seed. Their divisional round playoff game versus the scrappy New York Jets was, quite honestly, a gigantic shit show. San Diego kicker Nate Kading, remember him, missed 3 field goals, 36-yard field goal in the first quarter, a 57-yard field goal right before halftime, and a 40-yard field goal down 17-7 with 4:42 left. It's not all on Kading though. Rivers also failed to capitalize on the opportunities the Jets' anemic offense gave him, such as a Mark Sanchez interception that gave San Diego the ball at the New York Jets' 38-yard line, which ended with Rivers throwing an interception. On San Diego's next possession, Rivers threw another interception that set up New York at the San Diego 16, which New York scored a touchdown off of to go up 10-7 with 13:42 left in the game. San Diego punted, then New York scored another touchdown to go up 17-7. Then came Kading's missed 40-yard field goal with 4:42 left. San Diego added a touchdown to make it 17-14 with 2:20 left, but failed an onside kick and never got the ball back. For the second time in 4 years, the Chargers were upset at home in the divisional round after a first-round bye. The 2010 Chargers are a famous team for all the wrong reasons. Rivers once again had a phenomenal individual season, leading the league in passing yards, yards per attempt, and net yards per attempt. San Diego finished first in yards gained and first in yards allowed. They outscored opponents by 119 points and finished second in points per drive and fifth in points per drive allowed. Yet they finished just 9-7 and missed the playoffs. How the fuck is this possible? Well, week 1 at Kansas City, San Diego had 2 drives down 21-14 in the fourth. The first drive stalled out at Kansas City's 32-yard line, and the last drive stalled out at Kansas City's 6-yard line with 39 seconds left. Week 3 at Seattle, Rivers led a touchdown drive and 2-point conversion to tie the game at 20 with 6:44 left, but Seattle scored a 99-yard kickoff return touchdown to go up 27-20 with 6:24 left. San Diego got 2 more drives. The first stalled out at Seattle's 19, and the second stalled out at Seattle's 17 with 15 seconds left when Rivers threw an interception. Week 5 at Oakland, San Diego had a 27-22 lead with 12:04 left. Oakland scored on the next drive to go up 28-27 with 3:43 left. San Diego drove to the Oakland 33-yard line when Rivers was strip sacked and the ball was returned for an Oakland touchdown to go up 35-27 with 1:10 left. San Diego's final drive stalled out at the 42-yard line to end the game. Week 6 at St. Louis, San Diego had the ball down 17-10 with 8:48 left but missed a field goal. St. Louis kicked a field goal to go up 20-10. San Diego scored a touchdown to cut it to 2017 with 3:23 left, but never got the ball back. Week 7 versus New England, San Diego had the ball down 23-20 with 27 seconds left, but missed a 50-yard field goal to lose the game. San Diego started the year 2-5, but would rebound and go 7-12 over the last 9 games of the season, but it was too late by that point. It would be unfair to blame Rivers entirely for San Diego drastically underachieving, as the San Diego special teams gave up 2 kickoff return touchdowns versus Seattle, a punt return touchdown versus Kansas City, a blocked punt return touchdown versus Oakland, and crucial missed field goals in the fourth quarter and losses to Oakland and New England. Still, Rivers was not on his A game in many of the San Diego losses, and certainly wasn't close to how dominant he was in San Diego's wins. 2011 saw Rivers regress noticeably from his 2008 to 2010 form. He threw for over 4,600 yards and 27 touchdowns, but also 20 interceptions, and posted his worst marks in every efficiency metric since the 2007 season. San Diego's offense was still excellent though, finishing 4th in points per drive, while the defense was a putrid 26th in points allowed per drive. San Diego started strong with a 4-1 record, but then suffered 6 straight losses, all of which were winnable games in the fourth. Week 7 versus the Jets, they had a 21-17 lead going into the fourth quarter, but Rivers threw an interception up 21-17. New York scored a touchdown off of it to go up 24-21. Rivers then threw another interception on the next drive. New York scored a field goal off of it to go up 27-21 with 1:40 left. San Diego got one more drive, but it stalled out at midfield. Week 8 at Kansas City, Rivers led a game-tying touchdown drive with 7:19 left. San Diego got the ball back, but Rivers fumbled at KC's 15-yard line with 1:03 left. The game went into overtime. San Diego went 3-and-out on the opening possession, and then Kansas City kicked the game-winning field goal on theirs. Week 9 versus Green Bay, San Diego had 2 drives down 45-38 in the fourth. First drive stalled out at Green Bay's 42, and the last drive ended with Rivers throwing an interception with 33 seconds left. Week 10 versus Oakland, San Diego had 3 drives in the fourth quarter, all down 24-17. The first was a punt, the second was a Rivers interception at Oakland's 42 with 3:38 left, and the third ended at midfield as time expired. Week 11 at Chicago, San Diego never had the ball in the fourth quarter, down 1 possession, but Rivers threw 2 interceptions in the quarter, including one at Chicago's 16-yard line with 9:39 left, down by 11. Week 12 versus Denver, San Diego had a 13-10 lead going into the fourth quarter, but missed a 48-yard field goal with 12:36 left. Denver tied the game with 1:38 left, and San Diego missed a 53-yard game-winning field goal with 2:36 left in overtime. Denver got the ball back and kicked the game-winning field goal to win 16-13. San Diego rebounded to go 4-1 in the last 5 games to finish 8-8, but much like 2010, their late season surge wasn't enough to get them into the playoffs. 2012, in my opinion, was Philip Rivers' worst year statistically as a starting quarterback in the NFL. He posted era-adjusted career worst in categories like yards per attempt, net yards per attempt, adjusted yards per attempt, adjusted net yards per attempt, and sack percentage. The Chargers, unsurprisingly, had their first losing season with Rivers, finishing 7-9, and the San Diego offense finished a terrible 21st in points per drive. You're not going to believe this, but San Diego also lost a lot of close games in the fourth quarter again. Week 5 at New Orleans, San Diego had the ball up 24-21, but punted. They had the ball down 28-24, but Rivers threw an interception with 6 minutes left. They also had the ball down 31-24, but Rivers was sacked and fumbled at New Orleans 33 with 19 seconds left. Week 6 versus Denver, San Diego had a 24-14 lead entering the fourth. Denver scored a touchdown to make it 24-21. Then Rivers threw an interception Denver scored off of to make it 28-24 Denver. Rivers then threw another interception with 6:54 left, but he got the ball back, still down 28-24 with 3:52 left, but he threw his third interception of the quarter for a pick 6 with 2:15 left to give Denver a 35-24 lead. San Diego got one more drive, which ended with Rivers fumbling. Week 8 at Cleveland, San Diego had 2 drives down 7-6 in the fourth quarter. The first drive stalled out at San Diego's 42-yard line with 7:49 left, and the second drive stalled out at Cleveland's 44 with 1:24 left to end the game. Week 10 at Tampa Bay, San Diego was down 21-24 to start the fourth. Rivers threw an interception that was returned for a Tampa Bay touchdown to go down 31-21. San Diego added a field goal and got the ball back down 31-24, but Rivers threw another interception with 3:19 left. Tampa Bay added on a field goal to go up 34-24 with 1:12 left. San Diego got the ball back again, but the clock ran out. Week 12 versus Baltimore was the infamous 4th and 29 game. San Diego kicked a field goal to go up 13-3 with 7:51 left. left. Baltimore scored a touchdown to cut it to 13-10 with 4:23 left. San Diego then punted, and Baltimore got the ball back and kicked a game-tying field goal as time expired. In overtime, each team got 2 possessions. San Diego punted on both of theirs, while Baltimore kicked the game-winning field goal to win 16-13 with 1:12 left. Week 13 versus Cincinnati, San Diego had a 13-10 lead heading into the final quarter. Cincinnati scored the go-ahead touchdown drive with 4:17 left. Rivers was then strip-sacked on the next San Diego drive. Cincinnati turned it into a field goal to go up 20-13 with 2:50 left. The last San Diego drive got down to the Cincinnati 17-yard line, where Rivers threw an interception with 55 seconds left to end the game. Rivers would bounce back in 2013 under new head coach Mike McCoy, winning Comeback Player of the Year. He led the NFL in completion percentage and threw 32 touchdowns to just 11 interceptions, and tied his career high with a sparkling 105.5 passer rating. He also had 4 impressive clutch drives to win games versus Philadelphia, Dallas, and Kansas City twice. But despite Rivers performing brilliantly most of the time and the team finishing second in points per drive, San Diego finished with a mediocre 9-7 record. The subpar San Diego defense, which finished 23rd in points allowed per drive, obviously was a factor, but once again, San Diego had several very close losses they could have easily won. Week 1 versus Houston, San Diego had a 28-14 lead entering the fourth quarter. Houston scored a touchdown to make it 28-21. The teams traded punts, then Rivers threw a pick 6 with a 28-21 lead with 9:30 left to tie the game at 28. San Diego got 2 more drives with the game tied at 28, but punted on both, and Houston kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired to win 31-28. Week 3 at Tennessee, San Diego had a 17-10 lead entering the fourth. San Diego punted to start the fourth, then Tennessee made a field goal to cut it to 17-13 with 6:12 left. Then San Diego punted again with 2:17 left, but Tennessee scored the game-winning touchdown with 21 seconds left to go up 20-17 to end the game. Week 5 at Oakland, Rivers threw 2 interceptions on consecutive drives down 27-17 in the fourth quarter, including one at the Oakland 4-yard line with 1:53 left. Week 9 at Washington, it was tied at 14 entering the fourth. Washington scored to go up 21-14. Rivers threw an interception with 10:32 left, which Washington used to kick a field goal to go up 24-14 with 7:06 left. San Diego then scored 10 straight points to send the game into overtime, although they had first and goal at the Washington 1-yard line with 29 seconds left, down by 3, and failed to score a game-winning touchdown on 3 plays. Washington got the ball in overtime and scored on the opening drive to win 30-24. In Week 10 versus Denver, San Diego had the ball down 8 with 6:43 left, but punted and never got the ball again. Week 11 at Miami, San Diego had the ball down 17-16 with 13:48 left, but punted. They had the ball twice, down 20-16, but the first drive ended with a punt, while the last drive stalled out at Miami's 25 as time expired. In Week 13 versus Cincinnati, San Diego had the ball down 14-7 to start the fourth, but punted. They never had the ball within 1 score again and lost the game 17-10. Despite the 9-7 record, San Diego would end their 3-year playoff drought with an overtime win versus rival Kansas City in Week 17. The team would then go on to crush Cincinnati on the road before facing the eventual AFC champion Denver Broncos on the road in the divisional round. The Broncos would hold San Diego scoreless across the first 3 quarters, taking a 17-0 lead into the final stanza before San Diego and Rivers mounted a furious rally, scoring 17 points on their final 3 drives to make it 24-17 with 3:56 left. Unfortunately for San Diego, NFL MVP Peyton Manning would run out the rest of the clock with 3 third-down conversions to seal the win. Rivers' stats looked nice, although he took some untimely sacks and didn't get going until the fourth quarter when the team was already in a big hole. Rivers regressed noticeably from his outstanding 2013 season. He still threw for almost 4,300 yards and 31 touchdowns, but he also threw a league-leading 18 interceptions, and the Chargers offense finished a middling 15th in points per drive. But like with pretty much every season of Rivers' career, San Diego lost several close games they could have and most likely should have won. Week 1 at Arizona, they had a 17-6 lead heading into the fourth. Arizona scored a touchdown with 12:38 left to cut it to 17-12. San Diego drove to the Arizona 29-yard line on the next drive, but Rivers fumbled the snap, pushing San Diego out of field goal range. They punted, Arizona got the ball back, and went on a 91-yard game-winning touchdown drive to go up 18-17 with 2:32 left. San Diego got the ball back, but the drive stalled out at their 40-yard line. Week 7 versus Kansas City, San Diego had the ball at Kansas City's 6-yard line, down 20-14, but failed to score a touchdown. They settled for a field goal to make it 20-17 with 9:40 left. San Diego scored another field goal with 2:04 left, tied the game at 20, but Kansas City responded with the game-winning field goal with 26 seconds left to win 23-20. Week 14 versus New England, San Diego had a 14-13 lead entering the fourth. They had one drive down 16-14, but went 3 and out. New England scored another touchdown to go up 23-14 with 8:53 left. San Diego got 2 more drives, but failed to do anything with both. Week 15 versus Denver, San Diego never had the ball within 1 score, but Rivers would throw INTs on back-to-back drives, down 19-10 and 22-10, the latter coming on Denver's 7-yard line with 2:04 left to end the game. Week 17 versus Kansas City, not a blowout, but was never a one-score game in the fourth quarter. San Diego got the ball to Kansas City's 3-yard line with 8:52 left, down 19-7, but failed to score on 4 plays. 2015 would end up being the low point of the Rivers era with the Chargers, as the team bottomed out to a 4-12 record. Rivers threw for almost 4,800 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions, but the offense finished just 21st in points per drive, while the defense finished 23rd in points allowed per drive. The team also had league-worst starting field position both on offense and defense. But let's just get to all the close games the team lost, shall we? Week 2 at Cincinnati, San Diego had the ball down 17-13 but punted. Cincinnati scored a touchdown to go up 11, but San Diego responded with a touchdown to make it 24-19 with 4:27 left. San Diego would get the ball back with 1:09 left, but Rivers threw an interception to end the game. Week 5 versus Pittsburgh, Rivers led a touchdown drive to go up 17-10 and a field goal drive to go up 20-17 with 3 minutes left, but Pittsburgh had an 80-yard touchdown drive capped off with a rushing touchdown as time expired to win 24-20. Week 6 at Green Bay, San Diego had the ball at Green Bay's 14-yard line, down 24-17 early in the fourth, but settled for a field goal. They had the ball down 24-20 but punted, got the ball back down 27-20 with 2:41 left, and drove all the way to the Green Bay 3-yard line but failed to score to lose 27-20. Week 8 at Baltimore, San Diego had a 23-19 lead entering the fourth. They had 2 drives with a 23-19 lead but punted both times. Baltimore scored a touchdown to go up 26-23 with 4:37 left. San Diego responded with a field goal to tie the game at 26, but Baltimore then kicked the game-winning field goal as time expired to win 29-26. Week 9 versus Chicago, San Diego had a 16-7 lead entering the fourth. San Diego kicked the field goal to go up by 5 with 7:55 left, but Chicago scored a touchdown on the next drive to go up 22-19 with 3.5 minutes left. San Diego got the ball back, but the drive stalled out at their 41-yard line with 1:17 left to end the game. Week 14 at Kansas City, San Diego had 2 drives in the fourth quarter, both down 10-3. The first drive was a punt, and the second drive was 17 plays and got all the way down to the Kansas City 1-yard line with 6 seconds left, but a delay of game pushed the ball back to the 6-yard line. Rivers threw an incompletion, then another San Diego penalty pushed the ball back to Kansas City's 11-yard line, where another Rivers incompletion ended the game as time expired. Week 16 at Oakland, San Diego had a 17-12 lead heading into the fourth. They kicked a 53-yard field goal to go up by 8, but accepted the flag on the play to keep the drive alive, just to miss a 48-yard field goal a few plays later. The next San Diego drive, still up by 5, they fumbled, which Oakland recovered and returned to the San Diego 3-yard line, scoring a touchdown on the next play to take a 20-17 lead with 4:47 left. Rivers led a tying field goal drive with a minute left to send the game into overtime, but Oakland scored a field goal to take a 23-20 lead, and San Diego went 4-and-out to lose the game. Finally, Week 17 at Denver, San Diego took a 3-point lead after Rivers threw an 80-yard touchdown, but Denver tied the game at 20 with 9:48 left. The two teams traded punts until Rivers threw an interception with 5 minutes left to set up Denver at San Diego's 23. Denver scored the go-ahead touchdown to take a 27-20 lead with 4:50 left, and San Diego's final drive stalled out at the Denver 40-yard line to end the game. 2016 saw more of the same as 2015, as San Diego went just 5-11. Rivers threw for over 4,300 yards and 33 touchdowns, but once again led the league with 21 interceptions. And it wouldn't be a Philip Rivers team unless tons of disappointment was involved. Let's take a look at all the heartbreaking losses the 2016 Chargers suffered. Week 1 at Kansas City, San Diego had a 27-10 lead with 13 minutes left. They got the ball back but missed a 54-yard field goal. They would get 3 more drives the rest of the game afterwards, but punt on each of them as KC scored 23 unanswered points to win the game in overtime. Week 3 at Indianapolis, Rivers led San Diego to Indianapolis' 4-yard line, down by 1 with 8.5 minutes left, but failed to score a touchdown and had to settle for a field goal to go up by 2 with 7:38 left. San Diego got the ball back with a 22-20 lead, but punted with 2.5 minutes left. Indianapolis would then score a game-winning touchdown to go up by 4 with 1:28 left. San Diego then fumbled on their final drive with 1:10 left to end the game. Week 4 versus New Orleans, San Diego had the ball at the New Orleans 8-yard line with a 31-21 lead with 10 minutes left, but had to settle for a field goal to make it a 34-21 game. They got the ball back with a 13-point lead, but fumbled, which New Orleans scored a touchdown off of to make it 34-28. San Diego fumbled again on their next drive, and New Orleans again scored a touchdown to take a 1-point lead with 2 minutes left. San Diego's last possession ended with Rivers throwing an interception on 4th and 22. Week 5 at Oakland, San Diego had the ball at Oakland's 19-yard line, down by 3 with 3:10 left, and had to settle for a game-time field goal attempt, which ended with the holder botching the snap, losing San Diego the game. Week 8 at Denver, San Diego had the ball at Denver's 2-yard line, down 8 with 3 minutes left, but Rivers threw 4 straight incompletions. San Diego would get the ball back down 8 8 with 2:08 left, but the drive stalled out at San Diego's 46 to end the game. Week 10 versus Miami was a doozy. Rivers threw 4 fourth-quarter interceptions. The first was on Miami's 5-yard line when trailing by 4. The second was on Miami's 30-yard line with 7 minutes left, down by 4. Rivers would throw a 51-yard touchdown to take a 3-point lead with 4 minutes left. Miami tied the game at 24 with 3 minutes left. Then Rivers' third interception was a pick 6 with 1:13 left to give Miami a 7-point lead. Rivers' fourth and final interception was with 44 seconds left from the San Diego 37-yard line to end the game. Week 13 versus Tampa Bay, San Diego had a 4-point lead heading into the fourth. Tampa Bay kicked a field goal to cut it to 1. San Diego punted, then Tampa Bay took a 7-point lead with 9 minutes left. Rivers led San Diego to Tampa Bay's 31-yard line, where he threw an interception with 3 minutes left. Tampa Bay then ran out the clock. Week 15 at Oakland, San Diego once again had a 3-point lead heading into the fourth. They fumbled on their first drive with a 3-point lead. Oakland kicked a field goal off of it to tie the game at 16 with 8:44 left. San Diego punted again. Then Oakland kicked another field goal to go up by 3 with 2:42 left. Rivers then threw an interception on 4th and 15 with 1:51 left to end the game. And then week 16 at Cleveland, San Diego had 4 drives in the fourth quarter, all down by 3. The first 2 were punts, the third was a blocked 32-yard field goal with 3:49 left, and the fourth was a missed 45-yard field goal as time expired. Rivers' season stats in the fourth quarter: 5 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and a 63.3 passer rating. The Chargers moving from San Diego to Los Angeles in 2017 did nothing to change the team's habit of consistently underperforming. Rivers would bounce back individually to have a fine season, which saw him post 4,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. LA's defense was incredible, finishing 4th in points allowed per drive. But remember that part I mentioned about underachieving? Yeah, let's talk about that. Week 1 at Denver, San Diego had 2 drives down 24-21. The first drive ended with a punt, and the second drive ended with a blocked 44-yard field goal with 5 seconds left. Week 2 versus Miami, San Diego had a 17-13 lead heading into the fourth. They punted with a 4-point lead early on. Miami kicked a field goal to make it 17-16, but LA punted again with 3:12 left. Miami then kicked a game-winning field goal with 1:10 to make it 19-17. Rivers would set up LA with another 44-yard field goal attempt to win the game, but once again, it was missed. Week 3 versus Kansas City, LA had 3 drives in the fourth, down 17-10, but punted on all of them before Kansas City added another touchdown to go up by 14 with 1:49 left. Week 4 versus Philadelphia wasn't a blowout, but LA never had the ball within 1 score in the fourth. They scored touchdowns to make it 19-17 and 26-24 respectively, but Philadelphia ran out the final 6 minutes, 44 seconds the game. Week 8 at New England, LA had the ball down 5 with 7:05 left, but punted. They got the ball down 8 with 1:08 left, but Rivers threw an interception as time expired to lose 21-13. Week 10 at Jacksonville, the game was tied at 14 heading into the fourth. LA kicked a field goal to take a 3-point lead with 10:38 left. They had 4 drives with the ball up by 3. The first 2 were punts, the third was a fumble, and the fourth was with 1:08 left. Jacksonville ended up tying the game with 7 seconds left to send the game into OT. Jacksonville punted on the opening drive, but Rivers threw an interception that set up Jacksonville with a chip shot game-winning 30-yard field goal. And then finally, week 15 at Kansas City, LA had the ball down 7 to start the fourth, but fumbled it. KC kicked a field goal to go up 10. Rivers threw an interception on the next drive, which KC scored a touchdown off of to make it 30-13. Rivers would throw another interception on LA's final drive for shits and giggles. Overall, the team was one of Philip Rivers' best seasons, as he threw for over 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, and just 12 interceptions with a career-high 105.5 passer rating. It wasn't just Rivers bouncing back. The team finished 12-4. Both the offense and defense finished top 8 on a per-possession basis, but LA only got the 5th seed and finished 2nd in the AFC West behind the fellow 12-4 Kansas City Chiefs, who won the tiebreaker due to division win percentage. There were 2 losses that really stung LA in the big picture. Week 11 versus Denver, they had a 19-14 lead heading into the fourth. Denver scored a go-ahead touchdown, but Rivers led LA on a go-ahead field goal drive to make it 22-20 with 6:51 left. LA got the ball back up 2 before punting with 1:58 left. Denver then had a 76-yard game-winning field goal drive to win 23-22. Week 16 versus Baltimore, LA had 3 drives down 6 in the fourth quarter. The first ended in a punt. The second saw LA get into field goal range before Rivers took a sack on 3rd down, forcing another punt with 4:46 left. Third and final drive ended with a fumble that was returned for a touchdown to make it 22-10 Baltimore. Rivers then threw an interception on LA's next drive to end the game. The high point of the season had to be one of Rivers' most clutch moments of his career, when he overcame a 14-point fourth quarter deficit on the road to upset KC. Rivers threw a touchdown touchdown and completed a 2-point conversion with 4 seconds left to win 29-28. The good fortune would travel over into the wild card round of the playoffs as the team got to face inexperienced rookie Lamar Jackson. The Chargers offense would do just enough to hold on to a 23-17 win before traveling to dreaded New England for the divisional round. New England thoroughly dismantled LA, the final score of 41-28 not indicating how badly LA was outplayed. New England held a 41-14 lead with 8 minutes left before Rivers threw a few garbage time touchdowns late. Tom Brady's average completion traveled 3.7 yards in the air, and 63% of his yards came after the catch. That's what true greatness is all about, folks. 2019 would be Philip Rivers' last season with the Chargers, and for once, Rivers came through all year long in the clutch to lead them to the promised land. Just kidding, LOL. He continued to suck ass in the fourth quarter, and LA finished just 5-11. Rivers threw 23 touchdowns to 20 interceptions and added several memorable disappointments to his resume. Week 2 at Detroit, LA had a 10-6 lead heading into the fourth. Their first drive ended with a missed 41-yard field goal. Detroit scored a touchdown to go ahead by 3 with 7:21 left. Rivers led LA into field goal range but threw an interception from Detroit's 28 with 1:10 left to end the game. Week 3 versus Houston, LA had the ball down 4 to start the fourth but punted. Houston scored a touchdown to make it a 10-point game. LA responded with a field goal to cut it to 7. Houston punted to give LA the ball back down 7 with 4:19 left, which ended with LA's drive stalling out at Houston's 34-yard line with 17 seconds left. Week 5 versus Denver, LA had the ball down 7 with 4:22 left but had to punt with 3.5 minutes left. Denver then kicked a field goal to go up 10 with 2 minutes left. LA added a field goal to cut it to 10 with 15 seconds left, but the onside kick failed. Week 6 versus Pittsburgh, down 24 entering the fourth, Rivers led LA to 17 straight points and had the ball down 24-17 with a minute left, but Rivers threw an interception with 54 seconds left to end the game. Week 7 at Tennessee, tied at 10 entering the fourth, Tennessee scored a touchdown to go up 6. LA responded with a field goal to make it a 3-point game with 11 minutes left. Tennessee responded with another touchdown to go up by 10 with 6:39 left, but LA responded with another touchdown to make it 23-20 with 5:09 left. LA got the ball back down 3 with 2:35 left and got it all the way down to Tennessee's 1-yard line with 34 seconds left, but fumbled on second down to end the game. Week 10 at Oakland, Rivers led a touchdown drive to go up by 4 with 4:08 left, but Oakland responded with a touchdown of their own to go up by 2 with 1:06 left. LA's final drive stalled out with 27 seconds left after Rivers threw 4 straight incompletions. Week 11 versus KC, LA had 4 drives in the fourth down by 7. The first 2 ended in punts, the third ended with a Rivers interception, and a fourth ended with another Rivers interception with 24 seconds left in the Kansas City end zone to win the game. Week 13 at Denver, Rivers threw a touchdown to tie the game at 17 with 12:18 left. LA had the ball tied at 17 but ended up punting. Denver would kick a field goal to go up by 3 with 4.5 minutes left, but LA responded with a field goal to tie the game at 20 with 19 seconds left before a dumb penalty set Denver up for a game-winning field goal as time expired. Rivers concluded his career with a 1-year pit stop in Indianapolis. The team would finish 11-5 and make the playoffs, but Rivers being on a new team didn't change the fact that he still came up short multiple times in close games. Against Jacksonville, tied at 17 heading into the fourth quarter, Rivers led a go-ahead touchdown drive with 9:43 left, but Jacksonville responded with a go-ahead touchdown with 6 minutes left. Rivers then threw an interception with 4:32 left, which Jacksonville used to kick a field goal to take a 27-20 lead with 3 minutes left. Indianapolis' last drive stalled to Jacksonville 26 after 3 straight Rivers incompletions. On the road against Cleveland, Indianapolis had the ball down 27-20 with 4:44 left, but Rivers was called for intentional grounding, resulting in a safety to put Cleveland up by 9. Indianapolis had 2 drives down by 9. The first ended with a Rivers interception, and the second ended with an Indianapolis field goal to make it a 6-point game with 3 minutes left after Indy failed to score on 1st and 10 from Cleveland's 11. Cleveland added a field goal to make the final score 32-23. And on the road against Pittsburgh, Indy had a 10-point lead heading into the fourth. Pittsburgh scored a touchdown to cut it to 3. Indy punted. Pittsburgh then scored another touchdown to take a 4-point lead with 7:38 left. Rivers then threw an interception with 6:12 left. Indy got the ball back down 4 with 2:18 left, but the drive stalled out at Pittsburgh's 33 after 3 straight Rivers incompletions. The final game of Rivers' career would be a road playoff game versus the Buffalo Bills. Rivers would play well, but still missed out on several key chances to expand the lead. Up 10-7 with 3:15 left in the first half, the Colts had 1st and goal from Buffalo's 4-yard line. They would fail to score. Indy would later miss a 33-yard field goal late in the third, down by 7. Buffalo added a touchdown to go up by 14 early in the fourth, but Rivers would lead 2 touchdown drives to keep Indy alive. Rivers got the ball back down by 3 with 2.5 minutes left, but the drive stalled out at Buffalo's 47-yard line after 3 straight Rivers incompletions. Rivers would announce his retirement from the NFL 11 days later. So the question remains, does Philip Rivers Rivers deserved to make the Hall of Fame once he becomes eligible. The arguments in his favor are obvious. He has incredible counting stats. He finished his career top 5 all-time in categories like completions, yards, and touchdowns. No matter what you say, that's impressive. Another thing in his favor was his durability. He never missed a start for 15 years, starting 252 straight games. He also had a very impressive, albeit short, peak from 2008 to 2010, where he was statistically the best quarterback in the league in major efficiency metrics such as touchdown percentage, passer rating, yards per completion, yards per attempt, adjusted yards per attempt, and adjusted net yards per attempt. His 2013 and 2018 seasons were also great by every measure. His offenses finished top 5 in points per drive 7 times. But the arguments against Rivers are also obvious. For one, his teams constantly underachieved throughout his career. There are plenty of great QBs you can say didn't have enough talent around them to win, but that doesn't apply to Rivers. He got to play with prime LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner, Darren Sproles, Antonio Gates, Vincent Jackson, and Keenan Allen, just to name a few on offense, and he had a top 10 defense 6 different times, although to be fair, in his other 9 seasons, his defense all finished below average. In my opinion, was his constant choking in the fourth quarter of close games. I really hate to use that label since it's so bland and generic, but every stat points to Rivers' play completely falling off the cliff in the fourth quarter and overtime. Just a few tidbits here also drive the point home. Rivers had the ball in the fourth quarter with the game within 1 score in a loss 81 different times. That's almost 72% of his career losses. Rivers threw 36 interceptions when trailing by 1 to 8 points in the fourth quarter or overtime. Rivers' teams lost 36 games in which they had a fourth quarter lead. From 2006 to 2020, when he was a starting quarterback, Rivers was statistically well below league average in completion percentage, yards per attempt, and passer rating with the ball down 1 to 8 points in the fourth quarter and overtime. Rivers' performance in the playoffs also left a lot to be desired, as his production in statistical categories like passer rating, adjusted yards per attempt, and adjusted net yards per attempt all declined sharply. His 5-6 career playoff record is also underwhelming, especially considering his team's 2006 and 2009 flameouts at home. Over the first 4 years of his career, Rivers won 69% of his starts, nice, and made the playoffs all 4 times. But over the last 11 years of his career, he won just 49.7% of his starts and made the playoffs just 3 times. In the end, I believe Philip Rivers will eventually get into the Hall of Fame due to his counting stat. Over 63,000 yards and 421 touchdowns is no joke. But would I vote for him? It's a great example of stats versus the eye test. The stats say yes, but whenever I watch Rivers play, I never felt like I was watching a Hall of Fame quarterback. I always felt like he was going to find a way to screw up late, and he usually did. But just going off of quote-unquote feel isn't fair to the player, which is why it's important all the stats I laid out validate my feelings. I think Rivers is a textbook case of quantity over quality, as his best argument for making the Hall of Fame is based off being durable and the most QB-friendly era in NFL history, which leads to huge volume numbers. If he could finish on the field the way he's able to finish in the bedroom, he would be the greatest player in sports history. But alas, he goes into my Hall of Very Good, not the Hall of Fame.